Did you know there's a fish out there that can drown? I know, it sounds completely insane. It's like saying a bird can forget how to fly, or a cheetah can't run, but I'm telling you it's true. There is a real-life fish living on our planet right now that has to be careful not to spend too much time underwater. This creature is one of nature's greatest paradoxes. A living, breathing contradiction. A fish that has decided the ocean is overrated and has started taking its first steps, literally, onto dry land, blurring the line between sea and shore. Not a myth. This is the real deal. Imagine walking along a muddy shoreline and seeing a fish with goggly eyes pull itself out of the water and start walking, purposefully, across the mud. It looks around, takes in the sights, then finds a tree root, angles its body, and starts climbing. A fish, climbing a tree. You'd think you were hallucinating, a testament to the weirdness of evolution. Nature threw parts together and dared it to survive, and survive it does, thriving in the in-between, the intertidal zone. This fish doesn't just endure, it has conquered it. It develops skills so bizarre they belong in a fantasy novel, a living evolutionary marvel. So what is this creature? This master of land and sea, tree-climbing, land-walking, air-breathing fish? It turned its fins into legs, its skin into a backup lung, its attitude into pure, unfiltered survivor. Get ready, we're diving into its world. A world where fish don't just swim, they walk, they climb, and they command the land. Hold on tight, things are about to get wild. You won't believe what this little guy is capable of. Alright, let's pull back the curtain on this mysterious creature. The animal we're talking about is the mudskipper. And let me tell you, its name is no joke. These guys are the undisputed champions of the mudflats. They belong to a family of fish called gobies, but they are anything but ordinary. While their cousins are content to swim around in the water like, normal fish, mudskippers have decided to live life on the edge. They are found in the muddy mangrove swamps and tidal flats of the Indo-Pacific region, from Africa to Australia. Think of the muckiest, soggiest, most inhospitable patch of coastline you can imagine. That's a mudskipper's paradise. Now, mudskippers aren't just one type of fish. There are several different species. Some are tiny, just a few inches long, while others can get up to a foot in length. They all share a few key features: a slimy, elongated body, a frog-like head, those incredible periscopic eyes. Their eyes are mounted high on their head, like two little turrets, and they can move independently of each other. This gives them a nearly 360-degree view of their surroundings, which is perfect for spotting delicious snacks and dangerous predators. It's like having a built-in surveillance system on your head. One of the weirdest things about mudskippers is their personality. These little guys are feisty. They are fiercely territorial and will defend their muddy patch of real estate with everything they've got. You'll see them puffing up their gills, flaring their dorsal fins, and engaging in what can only be described as a fish-sized wrestling match. They'll chase off rival mudskippers, crabs, and pretty much anything else that wanders into their personal space. It's like watching tiny, slimy sumo wrestlers battling it out for control of a puddle. They are the true kings of their muddy castles, and they aren't afraid to show it. But why leave the water in the first place? It all comes down to survival and opportunity. The intertidal zone is a tough place to live. When the tide goes out, the water disappears, leaving behind a smorgasbord of food like small crabs, worms, and insects trapped in the mud. While other fish are forced to retreat with the tide, the mudskipper stays behind to feast. It has essentially unlocked a private all-you-can-eat buffet that no other fish can get to. By evolving the ability to live on land, the mudskipper has carved out a niche for itself where it has very little competition. It's a genius strategy, and it's what makes them one of the most successful amphibious animals on the planet. The secret is in the fins. So, the million-dollar question, how on earth does a fish walk? It sounds like the setup to a bad joke, but for the mudskipper, it's just another Tuesday. The secret lies in its pectoral fins, the ones you'd normally see on the side of a fish. Over millions of years, those pectoral fins evolved to be strong and muscular. They attach to a robust shoulder girdle, much like our arms. That lets the fins support body weight and act almost like crutches. Evolution repurposed an existing tool for something new. When it strolls, it performs crutching. It plants its left pectoral fin into the mud. It plants its right pectoral fin into the mud. Then it hitches its body forward in a little shuffle. It's not graceful, more like a low crawl, but super effective. It also uses its tail to help. It curls the tail to one side and pushes off for a burst. Combining fin crutching with a tail push gives brisk walking across mud flats. The mudskipper can chase down prey or escape danger. But walking isn't the only trick. When startled, it can skip. This is where it gets its name. It bends into a C shape, then explosively straightens its tail to launch through the air. It can skip across water or across mud, several skips in a row to cover ground fast. It's an incredible display of power and agility. Imagine a fish bouncing like a skipping stone. It's their emergency escape button. This setup is unique in the fish world. Some other fish, like the walking catfish, wriggle across land, but none use this specialized technique. The mudskipper's fins have a distinct elbow joint for extra range of motion. It's beautiful evolutionary engineering. Like nature added a shoulder and an elbow to a fin. The result? A creature perfectly adapted to life between water and land. Okay, so the mudskipper can walk. Big deal. How does it breathe? A fish out of water is supposed to be in big trouble, right? Well, the mudskipper has a few incredible tricks up its slimy sleeve that allow it to stay on land for hours, sometimes even days at a time. Its primary method is to bring a little bit of the ocean with it. Before it leaves the water, the mudskipper will take a big gulp of water and hold it in its gill chambers. These chambers are oversized and can be sealed shut, creating two personal portable scuba tanks. This trapped water keeps the gills moist and allows them to continue extracting oxygen. But that's just plan A. What happens when the oxygen in those gill chambers starts to run out? The mudskipper has a backup system that is even more amazing. It can breathe through its skin. It can breathe through the lining of its mouth. It can breathe through the lining of its throat. This process is called cutaneous respiration, usually associated with amphibians. The mudskipper's skin is packed with a dense network of capillaries, just like our lungs. As long as the fish stays wet, rolling in the mud or taking an occasional dip, it can absorb oxygen directly from the air into its bloodstream. It's like having a lung that covers your entire body. This is why a mudskipper can drown in low oxygen water. It's become so dependent on breathing air that it can't get enough oxygen from the water alone, especially if the water is stagnant and warm. So this fish needs access to air to survive. It has to come to the surface regularly to gulp air, or climb out onto land to breathe. It's a prisoner of its own incredible adaptations. It has one foot, or fin, in the water and one on land. It can't fully commit to either one. It exists in a permanent state of in-between. Think about how wild that is. This animal has evolved 3 respiratory systems: gills for underwater breathing, water-filled gill chambers for short trips on land, skin for long-term land excursions. It's the Swiss Army knife of respiration. Evolution has equipped this little fish with a full toolkit to handle the chaotic intertidal zone. It's a master of adaptation and a living example of how life will always find a way, even turning a fish into a part-time land dweller that breathes through its skin. The mudskipper doesn't just survive, it thrives by playing by its own set of rules. Alright, walking and breathing on land is one thing, but climbing trees? That just seems like showing off. Why would a fish possibly need to climb a tree? I mean, it's not like there are worms and crabs hanging out on the branches. The answer, like everything with the mudskipper, comes down to survival and a little bit of strategy. The main reason a mudskipper climbs is to escape the rising tide. When the water comes back in, it brings with it larger, predatory fish that would love to make a meal out of a mudskipper. The land that was a safe haven moments before is now a danger zone. So what does the mudskipper do? It climbs, using its powerful pectoral fins like little grappling hooks and its body to grip the surface, mangrove roots, rocks, low-hanging branches. It finds a perch just above the waterline, a safe spot where it can wait out the high tide. From this vantage point, it can keep an eye on everything happening below. It's like having a royal box seat for the chaos of the high tide. It's safe from aquatic predators, and it can still keep its skin moist from the splashing water. It's the ultimate defensive position, a fortress in the mangroves. Climbing also serves another important purpose: thermoregulation. Just like a lizard basking on a rock, A mudskipper might climb out of the water to warm up in the sun, or if it's getting too hot on the exposed mudflats, it might climb into a shady spot on a mangrove root to cool down. By moving between water, mud, and air, it can precisely control its body temperature. This is a level of environmental control that very few fish have. Most fish are stuck at whatever temperature the water is, but the mudskipper is a master of its own microclimate, finding the perfect spot to be comfortable and conserve energy. And sometimes, they just seem to climb because they can. From their elevated perches, male mudskippers can survey their territory and display to females. A higher perch means better visibility. It allows them to show off their impressive dorsal fins and send a clear signal to rivals and potential mates. This is my turf, and I am the king. It's a display of dominance. So climbing isn't just about escaping danger, it's about social status, finding a mate, and maintaining control over their muddy kingdom. For a creature that's only a few inches long, they have a surprisingly complex social life, and climbing is a big part of it. Let's try to imagine what a typical day is like for a mudskipper. The day begins as the tide recedes, exposing the vast, glistening mudflats. This is the dinner bell. Our mudskipper emerges from its burrow, a water-filled tunnel it digs in the mud, and begins its patrol. Using its periscopic eyes, it scans the landscape for any sign of movement. It spots a tiny crab scuttling nearby. With a quick burst of speed, crutching forward on its fins, it lunges and snaps up its breakfast. Worms, insects, crustaceans. The mud is a buffet, and the mudskipper is the first in line, gobbling up breakfast. As the sun climbs higher, the mudflats can get hot. It's time to cool off and re-moisturize. The mudskipper finds a shallow puddle and flops around in it, rolling over and over to ensure its entire body is coated in a fresh layer of cool, wet mud. This isn't just for comfort, it's essential for survival. The mud acts like a natural sunscreen and helps keep its skin moist, allowing it to continue breathing air. After its mud bath, it might find a nice shady spot under a mangrove root to relax and digest its meal. It's a tough life, but it has its moments of leisure. Suddenly, a shadow passes overhead. A predatory bird shadow, a kingfisher, a heron. The mudskipper freezes. Its mottled brown and gray coloration provides perfect camouflage against the mud. If the danger gets too close, it will use its skipping technique, launching itself in a series of frantic leaps towards the safety of its burrow or the nearest patch of water. It's a constant game of cat and mouse, and the mudskipper has to be alert every second it's out in the open. Its life is a series of calculated risks, balancing the need to find food with the constant threat of being eaten. As the day wears on, the tide begins to turn. The water starts to creep back across the flats, bringing with it the larger fish that hunt in the shallows. This is the signal for the mudskipper to retreat. It doesn't go far. Instead of swimming away, it climbs. It finds its favorite mangrove root and shimmies up to a safe perch just above the rising water. There it will wait, watching the underwater world come alive below it, safe in its arboreal hideout. It will rest here until the tide recedes once more, and the cycle begins all over again. It's a life lived on the boundary, a daily dance between two different worlds. As if walking on land and climbing trees wasn't enough, the mudskipper has a few more astounding abilities that make it one of the most unique vertebrates on the planet. One of the most fascinating is how they build their homes. Mudskippers are expert architects. They use their mouths like little shovels to excavate deep J-shaped, U-shaped burrows in the mud. These burrows can be several feet deep and always hold water at the bottom, even when the tide is out. This underwater chamber is the mudskipper's safe room, a place to retreat from predators, escape the heat of the sun, and lay their eggs. The breeding process itself is incredible. The male mudskipper is the one who puts in all the work. After digging the burrow, his job is to attract a female. To do this, he puts on a spectacular acrobatic show. He'll leap high into the air, flash his brightly colored dorsal fins, and perform a series of energetic push-ups. He's essentially screaming, "Hey, look at me! I've got a great burrow and even better genes." If a female is impressed by his display, she will follow him into the burrow to lay her eggs. It all happens on land, one of the most elaborate courtship rituals in the fish kingdom. Once the eggs are laid deep inside the burrow, the story gets even weirder. The developing embryos need oxygen to survive, but the water at the bottom of the burrow is often stagnant and oxygen poor. So what does the male mudskipper do? He becomes a living air pump. He will repeatedly swim to the surface, gulp a mouthful of fresh air, swim back down to the egg chamber and release the air bubble. He does this over and over, sometimes for hours on end, to maintain a pocket of fresh air for his developing offspring. He is literally hand-delivering breathable air to his unborn children. Talk about a dedicated dad. This level of parental care is almost unheard of in fish. The male guards the burrow ferociously, chases away any intruders, and diligently maintains the oxygen supply until the eggs hatch. This behavior shows an incredible level of sophistication. It's not just a collection of weird adaptations. It's a complex life strategy that involves architecture, courtship displays, and devoted parenting. The mudskipper isn't just a weirdo, it's a genius. When you try to compare the mudskipper to other animals, you quickly realize it's in a league of its own. It's a fish that acts like an amphibian, reptile, bird. Let's start with amphibians. Like a frog, the mudskipper can breathe through its skin. It spends its life tethered to both land and water. Both have eyes positioned high on their heads for spotting prey and predators. Unlike a frog that starts as a tadpole with gills, the mudskipper keeps its gills for life and also develops other ways to breathe air. It's like it saw what amphibians were doing. I can do that. But I'm keeping the gills. Thanks. Then there's the reptile comparison. Think of a lizard basking on a rock. The mudskipper climbs onto mangrove roots to soak up the sun. Like many lizards, it's fiercely territorial, defending its patch with aggressive displays. Its side-to-side shuffle even looks reptilian. But no reptile digs underwater, burrows, or breathes with gills. The mudskipper borrows the reptile playbook and adds an aquatic twist. The bird comparison might seem like a stretch, but look at courtship and nesting. The male mudskipper's jumping dance mirrors flamboyant bird displays. He's showing off to win a female. Building a nest, a burrow, and caring for eggs is avian-like. The male pumps air into the nursery chamber, parental care rivaling many birds. The mudskipper is a true mosaic of the animal kingdom, a biological puzzle that cherry-picks survival traits and combines them into one goggle-eyed package. Respiration of an amphibian, thermoregulation of a reptile, courtship of a bird, and the body of a fish. In evolution, there are no hard rules. If it works, nature finds a way, even if it creates a fish that climbs trees. We've seen the mudskipper walk, climb, and breathe air. We've seen it build a home and raise a family in ways that seem utterly alien for a fish. It pushes the boundaries of what we think a fish is, making us question the very definition. It lives more of its life out of the water than in it. So it begs the question, at what point does a fish stop being a fish? Is the mudskipper some kind of evolutionary stepping stone, a living link between sea and land creatures? The answer is both yes and no, and it holds one final, surprising twist. Scientists are fascinated by the mudskipper because it provides a living model of the first transition from water to land. Tiktaalik, the famous fishapod fossil, shows adaptations for propping themselves up on their fins, much like a mudskipper. By studying the mudskipper's anatomy, genetics, and behavior, we can gain incredible insights into how our own distant ancestors might have taken their first tentative steps out of the primordial soup. The mudskipper is like a time machine, giving us a glimpse into one of the most important events in the history of life on Earth. But here's the mind-blowing part. Mudskippers are not our ancestors. They are not a primitive, less evolved creature stuck in the past. In fact, it's the opposite. The goby family, which mudskippers belong to, is one of the most modern and highly evolved groups of fish on the planet. This means the mudskipper's journey onto land is not a relic of an ancient transition. It's a brand new one. They are modern fish who have independently decided to leave the water and are evolving amphibious traits right now, in our own time. They aren't retracing history, they are writing a new chapter. And that is the final, incredible fact about this animal. The mudskipper is not a living fossil. It is a pioneer of the future. It shows us that the leap from water to land wasn't a one-time event that happened 375 million years ago. It's a process that can and is happening again. The mudskipper is living proof that evolution is not a straight line, but a dynamic and ongoing force, constantly pushing life into new and unexpected forms. This isn't just a weird fish, it's a real-time evolution experiment happening right before our eyes. What do you think is the most unbelievable thing about the mudskipper? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more of nature's most incredible and bizarre creatures, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and get ready for the next adventure. Stay wild.